Subscribe for more stories and show your support by giving this video a thumbs up. Drip's infinite journey, from clouds to glacier. In the middle of the vast Pacific Ocean lived Drip, just one of billions of water droplets. Drip was a tiny, transparent, and quite cheerful water droplet. His life was quite simple, swaying to and fro with the waves, playing slides on the scales of fish, and watching the reflection of Grandpa Moon at night. But inside Drip, there was a curiosity that the other droplets didn't possess. An old sea turtle named Tito often told him about the world above. One day, Drip, Tito had said, "You won't just be water. You will fly, you will turn into white cotton, you will even become harder than stone." Drip couldn't believe it. "What do you mean?" "I'm made of water, Tito. I don't have wings to fly. And becoming harder than stone. I would scatter if you touched me with the tip of your finger." Tito just smiled. "Wait and see, little friend. When Soul calls you, be ready to go." One morning, the ocean was warmer than usual. The giant yellow ball in the sky, Soul, the sun, was shining with all its might. Drip was sunbathing on the surface of the water. Suddenly, a strange feeling came over him. He was ticklish. His body was getting lighter. He was getting so light that he could no longer hold onto the waves. "Hey! What's happening?" shouted Drip. His friend Splash next to him said, "You're going, Drip. You're evaporating." Drip looked down. The ocean was moving away from under his feet, or rather, his droplet tips. But Drip was no longer a round droplet. He had become invisible. He was water vapor. As he rose toward the sky, he felt like a ghost. Zephyr, the son of the wind, gently caught him. "Welcome, Drip," whispered Zephyr. "Now it is time to dance with the air." Drip rose higher and higher on Zephyr's back. The ships below looked like toys, and the islands looked like green specks. "I'm flying," shouted Drip. But no sound came out, because the voice of vapor blends with the whisper of the wind. Being there was amazing. He was free, limitless, and very fast. When they rose high enough, the air began to cool down. Zephyr said, "Time to gather up." Drip saw thousands of evaporated droplets like himself around him. The cold air brought them closer together. They started to become visible again, not as liquid, but as a misty whiteness. Drip bumped into an old and wise fog cloud named Misty. "Hey, watch where you're going, little one," laughed Misty. "Welcome to Team Cloud." Drip looked around. He had become part of a massive, fluffy, white mountain. When people looked up from below, they saw a ship or a car. "What are we, Misty?" asked Drip. "We are a family," said Misty. "Together, we can even block out the sun. But hold on tight, the wind is taking us north, to the cold mountains." The journey lasted for days. Drip looked down from the edge of the cloud, watching the lights of cities and the green of forests. But he was getting colder. The warmth of the ocean was left far behind. One night, Zephyr dragged them to the peak of a very high mountain. The air was so cold that Drip began to shiver. "Misty, I can't move," said Drip. "My arms, my legs, they are stiffening up." "Don't be afraid, Drip," said Misty. "You are transforming into your most beautiful form. Get ready." And in that moment, it happened. Drip's soft, fluid body hardened. But this wasn't an ordinary hardness. Drip turned into a glistening star with 6 points and perfect geometric patterns. He was now a snowflake. He separated from the cloud and began to glide down. Another snowflake named Crystal was gliding next to him. "You are so beautiful," said Crystal. "You reflect the light like a diamond." Drip looked at himself. Yes, he was a work of art. Maybe he wasn't harder than stone, but he was certainly more beautiful. They landed slowly on the mountain peak. Poof! He made a soft landing. Everything around was snow white. Millions of snowflakes had come together to form a giant white blanket. This place was silent, peaceful, and freezing. Drip stayed there for months. He didn't move. He just sparkled. This was his ice form. Patient, strong, and still. Months later, the sun, Sol, showed his face again. But this time he was closer. Spring was coming. Drip felt a loosening in his crystal body. Those hard edges softened. That white color became transparent. "I'm changing again," he said to Crystal. "Yes," said Crystal, slowly turning into a water droplet. "Now the most fun part begins. Slide time." Drip melted completely and became a liquid water droplet again. But this time, he wasn't salty like in the ocean. He was fresh and ice-cold water. He seeped from under the glacier and joined other melting friends. A small trickle turned into a stream. Yippee! Drip was flowing down the mountainside, bouncing over rocks. This was faster than the fastest roller coaster at an amusement park. He flew off waterfalls, whoosh! He wound around mossy stones, swish! On the way, he met a trout named Finn. "Hey Finn! Can you take me to the ocean?" "Just let yourself go with the current, Drip," said the fish. All rivers eventually return home. Drip got caught up in the excitement of the river. Sometimes he rested in calm flats, sometimes he tumbled in foamy rapids. He passed through forests, glided under bridges, and became life water for fields. He almost got swallowed in a trough where a cow was drinking, but he managed to escape at the last moment. Drip understood better now what it meant to be water. Water was life. It made everywhere it went turn green. At the end of this long journey that lasted for days and weeks, Drip smelled a familiar scent. Salt. The river widened, and met a massive blue expanse. Drip came out of the river mouth and jumped into the warm, salty arms of the ocean. Splash! He was home again. His old friend Tito the turtle was resting on a coral. "Well, well, well," said Tito slowly. "Look who's here." A droplet whose color has changed a bit, looking a bit wiser. Drip excitedly swam to Tito's side. "You were right, Tito. I saw it all. I became an invisible ghost and flew in the sky. I became a giant made of cotton. Then I turned into a shining star and slept on top of the mountain. And finally, I became a crazy river and ran here." Tito smiled. "This is your cycle, Drip. And you know what? This was only the beginning." Drip leaned his back against the surface of the ocean. He looked at Sol in the sky. He was tired but happy. He knew that one day, Sol would call him again, Zephyr would carry him again, and he would change shape once more and travel the world. Because he wasn't just a water droplet. He was a traveler of the world. The end.